Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Jordan here with today's review of Eternal Radiance. I was lucky enough to pick up a physical version of this game from One Print Games, and I've been playing it over the weekend, and so I thought I'd tell you my opinions on it. So let's jump in and see what it's all about. Before we do jump in, just make sure that you are subscribed to our channel, because once we reach 100,000 subscribers, we're giving away a Nintendo Switch OLED model to one of you, so subscribe. You might win. Eternal Radiance is an action RPG. It is on the breezy side, and you can tell it's been made by an indie company. A company that may not be wholly experienced in the genre, especially going with a name like Visual Novella. It is a game with some rough parts, but it comes together in a nice charming way, and let me tell you why. Eternal Radiance stars Celeste. No, not that Celeste, and most certainly not that Celeste. This Celeste is a squire who's looking to prove her worth as a knight. During her task to retrieve an ancient artifact, however, her mission is squandered by a thief who gets it before her. But she is determined to get it and sets out on an adventure to get it back with a couple of acquaintances. The archer mercenary Valana, who is hunting the very same thief, and the curious mage Ruby, who is, yes, she is red. Come on guys, couldn't she be like yellow or something? Subvert my expectations. The artifact retrieval is just the tip of the iceberg, however, for this story, and the plot slowly unravels. It is a game of two halves, story and hacking and slashing. The action part here of this game is simple enough. You have a weak attack that is fast, and also a slower, heavy attack. I gravitated towards using the heavy attack pretty much all of the time, due to it helping in replenishing your mana, which is used for special attacks which you need to use quite a lot. Just a little bit of advice though, since once you're into the action, hacking and slashing, I'd spend about 10 minutes getting used to the controls and then realizing just how awful they are. Head into the settings and change them completely, because the button mapping here feels wrong. It feels like somebody who's not actually used a controller before in their life. Thankfully, you can change most of it to be more reasonable, but not all of it. Especially the special attacks where you have to hold down the L shoulder button. Personally, I'd have liked that to be the forward roll, and the right shoulder button to be the special attack modifier. Sadly, that cannot be changed, but I grew to live with it. You only control the main character, but your allies will help out on their own. You'll be spending most of your time taking pot shots at the enemy and making ample use of your dodge roll to get out of the way. You have your special attacks, which I mentioned already, and you can equip 4 at once, and these are quite vital in taking down some of the larger groups of enemies. All the components of what make an action game are here: dodge rolls, blocks, increased abilities if things are timed well, a variety of special attacks, a super attack, and teammate orders. It has all the ingredients, but there's definitely a lack of spit and polish on quite a lot of the action here. Things tend to be a little cumbersome and overly simplistic. It's not really the worst example by any means, but as much as I enjoy the simple-mindedness of it, I can't see too many people clamoring to play Eternal Radiance on the gameplay alone. As you gain levels, you'll be able to take advantage of the talent tree, which does add a little bit of depth to customization, but not a whole lot. It's not overwhelming, so it's welcoming to people who hate lots of choice, like myself. I panic when there's too much choice. There's a decent amount of side quests to be getting on with. If you go through the town menus and talk with the various faces, you'll initiate some simple side quests that you'll probably end up completing alongside the current main quest, so it doesn't feel like you're having to go out of your way to do them, which some will either like or dislike. It doesn't feel like busy work, nor are you traipsing along the same path all the time doing mundane stuff, just to pad out the runtime. So I didn't actually mind it, and it suited the breezy nature of the game as a whole. With a 15-hour runtime, it's not one that outstays its welcome and is easily digestible, although I personally wouldn't try to eat it. I mean, plastic doesn't get through the stomach very well, and we all know how bitter those cards taste. So as I said, this is also heavy on the narrative. Be prepared for visual novel levels of talking. This really is a 50-50 mix of story and gameplay, and there is a reason we included this game in our best visual novels on the Switch video. You'll be spending just as much time with static story and dialogue as you will be battling beasts. In fact, it will take a good hour or so before you can even move a character around for the first time. If you enjoy visual novels, you will definitely get a kick out of this one. If you've never really ventured into the genre, then it is also a decent starting place to ease you into it rather than delving straight into an 80-hour epic kinetic visual novel, wondering why on earth people play these. And yes, we do get comments like that all the time. But you know, be adventurous like Celeste. Try it. You might actually like visual novels if you try this one, which is half a visual novel, half gameplay. And I've spoken about how the gameplay, how rough it is around the edges and a bit too budgeted, but the story is actually very good. While the overall premise is rather generic, as the old saying goes, it's the journey, not the destination. It's the friends we made along the way and all that bullshit. Because yes, the writing is rather good in moment-to-moment dialogue. It's funny, it's sweet, it is charming. It's also well written, and you'll be happy you're spending time with these characters and the world they inhabit. In all honesty, although I found the action RPG enjoyable, probably it's more the thing that breaks up the story a bit of a breather, something a bit different. And that's usually the case where visual novels try to add gameplay or mini games into the mix. They are never, almost ever, as good as a game dedicated to that gameplay, but it's used simply as a breather for the story, and it works exceptionally well here since, yeah, it's simple, but it's genuine interactive gameplay that is somewhat fun and meaty at the same time. You'll be meeting a large array of side characters, all very memorable and likable, especially Claire. Claire is my favorite. I'm not entirely sure why. Did I mention the character artwork and backgrounds are utterly gorgeous? Yes, lots of fantastic artwork is on show here during the story segments. All the characters are designed fantastically. You can tell this is where the developers excel. It's bright, colorful, and everyone is unique, even the very minor characters. You get a lot of their personality just from their designs alone. The other side of the coin, however, is the gameplay segments, where you're wandering around the environments battling monsters. It's not exactly a looker here, I think we can all agree on that. It is basic as it comes, and what especially stood out for me is the lack of enemies feeling integrated into the environment. They kind of just stand there in random places waiting for you to come and attack. They don't wander around or get on with busy stuff. It's basic, and it's, look, to be honest, it is from a different era. It's not bad, and look, I don't want to keep harping on about how simple and basic the gameplay is. I'm a simple guy. I like simplicity. Claire is my favorite. Just don't go expecting something above a PS2 level of complexity in terms of visuals and the programming depth. Please go in with that mindset. Now, this game is available physically. In fact, at the time of writing, physical is the only way to actually play it on your Nintendo Switch. The digital release is coming, but we just don't know when. It could be next week, it could be next month, it could be next year for all we know. The reason being the developers want to publish it on the Switch and PS4 at the same time, but they're having issues with good old Sony, so physical is the only option right now on the Switch, which is great news for One Print Games, the physical publisher. I was lucky enough to get a copy of the limited edition from One Print Games, which you can see here. One Print Games version comes with some nice extra goodies like a mini booklet, sticker, card, keyring, and most importantly, a soundtrack CD with over 40 tracks and 2 hours worth of music from the game. I'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, if you want this version, head over to oneprintgames.com to pick up yours. If you're watching this in the future, then that may be sold out as it was limited, but Play Asia also have a version of the game. It has a different cover art, but also doesn't come with any of the goodies. If you want to pick up that version, then check the links below in the description and the pinned comment, where if you click those links and buy it, you can also support us at the same time. We earn a little bit from affiliates, and it really does help support us. Plus, if you click it, then you can also get a very nice 5% saving as well of any physical item from Play Asia if you use the coupon code SwitchWatchTV while checking out. That's all one word, SwitchWatchTV, while checking out for 5% off any physical item from Play Asia. And just remember to click our link first. It is a very good way to show your support. Now, it's up to you which version you get. Obviously, we don't earn anything from One Print's website, but that soundtrack CD is mega tempting because the music is really good. I've been listening to it while I was walking the dog and writing this review. I was listening to the whole thing, and it is fantastic. The composer known as Kanaduki has done a great job really selling the adventure. Honestly, I really like the soundtrack to Eternal Radiance. It's busy, it's bustling, it's lively, it can also get rather sweet at times. Each area of the game is on theme without being overly generic. A great soundtrack for an RPG, very well done. Overall, Eternal Radiance is a cute, breezy time, but don't go in expecting a big budget action RPG because you'll be very disappointed, because it ain't that. It most certainly has its roots firmly in indie territory, and be ready for a story. This was in our epic visual novel list for a very, very good reason. You definitely have to be ready to enjoy the characters talking alongside some hacking and slashing at monsters in simple but fun enough battles. Thankfully, I do enjoy a good visual novel, and it really struck a chord with me with the characters. They're excellent and their designs are wonderful. I am happy that Claire exists. The story is the main selling point. The rough around the edges gameplay is a nice breather. In my opinion, for Eternal Radiance, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It comes together in a charming way. Celeste and her crew had a really nice adventure, and I'm glad I joined them for it in this indie game, trying to punch above its weight and do something a little bit different. A 7 out of 10. Alright, many thanks for watching this review of Eternal Radiance. If you watched all the way through, thank you ever so much. If you want to order a physical copy, consider using the links below in the description and the pinned comment, as it will also help support us. Big up to our executive producers: God of Resin, Boombox, Brent McLean, Jonathan Rumor, Santa Tartaruga, Alexander Cato, JCross7776, Elisa, Punky Dooster, Michael Del Polito, Cartoon Soren, Jack Severus, Robotech, Z, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Parsnip Coffee, Government Fat Cat, Issa, V, Mental Traveler. Thank you for your support. Plus you watching right now. If you watched all the way through, you are a massive legend too, because the longer you watch, the more YouTube shows us to other people and helps us grow. So if you're one of those people, leave me a wind emoji. Is there a wind emoji? I don't even know, but there's kind of like a hurricane going on outside right now. I'm sure you've heard it in this review. So yeah, leave me a wind emoji or a cloud or something like that. I don't know. The weather's terrible and I'm sure you can hear it. See you guys on some of our other stuff. We'll see you guys over there. Have a good one. Bye bye.